Sadranain from Pakistan, Punjab, and I am a host. And I'm very happy because this is Saturday night, and we are here on Connecting the World program. This interview series is sponsored by Rehan Foundation and Institute of Peace. Today, our guest is John and Jill. They are both are very good personalities, and we learned from lots of things from their experiences, their life journey. So they both are from Chicago, and I am going to request to both of them, please. First of all, thank you for joining us, and request them, please introduce both of you with my audience because we are very excited to know more about you.
Well, thanks for allowing us to participate. It's really exciting for us too. We are, again, from Chicago, and
we're married.
Yeah, we are.
We are married. We've been married 15 years.
Yeah. And we're very interested in promoting peace and love. And we have a nonprofit that helps us do that.
Yeah. And through our nonprofit, we do things that involve music and mentoring and urban gardening. Chicago's not a rural area, but people still have the ability to grow things. And some parts of the city, they don't really have a lot of access to fresh fruit and vegetables and things. So that's some of what we get into. And our background, my background is as a chemical engineer. I spent 40 years in engineering in a variety of different roles in different companies, kind of throughout the Midwest location. I've lived in Missouri and Illinois and Arkansas and Michigan. So kind of been around, but I retired recently.
My background is in computer science, and we also have 5 children and a dog. So I guess that's it for us.
A brief introduction.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's very amazing and very interesting introduction. And this is my first experience to interview a couple, and you are a very good experience in your marital life. So I want to ask a question to you. Firstly, in your introduction, I have seen a very interesting thing is that songwriter. So you are the engineer and you are writing songs. So I want to know about it. You are the dual personality person, or you are love the nature. That's why you write the songs. So I want to know more about why you write the songs and what type of content in your songs.
Yeah, sure. Music is the universal language, as they say, and so I like to think there's ways to connect people, this way across it, but I also like to look this way, up to the Almighty, and we may call him different names, but so if we connect this way, we connect that way. So, and sometimes those songs, they may be a little more funny things, or they more be serious things. I was actually in a recording studio last night with some other musicians, and we're working on a song for an Indian woman. Actually, is going to be the singer, but the song relates to grief in her case over losing a child. So our motto of Songs by John Music is where the music matters and you do too. So in other words, we're all connected that way.
The other thing about music too is when it comes to our nonprofit, and I haven't told you the name yet, it's These Streets Are Holy. Music is part of that as well. And something you can do with that is give people a voice to let others know what they're experiencing or what changes they want to see. And through that aspect of the stuff for the nonprofit is building community and relationships. So there's this wonderful aspect of creativity, but within that, you get to get a topic or an idea out and hopefully change or touch somebody.
And certainly community could be, the people we see who live 15 miles from us or 12,000 miles from us.
Right.
As you may, I don't know exactly how far it is to where you're at from where we are, but it's a
12
long
hours
distance.
anyway,
Yeah.
12 hours difference.
Thing. Um, so I know music has their own definition. So what is what is your definition about music, and is it used for our healing, for our soul healing, for our mind healing? Can we use the music for these purpose?
Well, certainly. We last year were recording a new version of John Lennon's song Imagine. And I don't know if that's a song people in Pakistan might be familiar with, but it's a very famous song. But we put a different spin on it. And one of the things we really emphasized was this phrase, the world will be as one, and so it's a very hopeful song. And, it looks to a day where we are in heaven and things like that. So, that I think is a positive message. That's certainly kind of at the core of what I do. There's a hopefulness, a positive message, a sense that, if we all are together, it can be a better world. So. I'm afraid we have a little audio delay here. I'm not hearing what you're saying at the moment.
We haven't heard that last comment at all. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am really sorry for it. I never open your mic and I'm speaking. Okay. My question is this. Uh, when you realize you have a ability to write a songs, because songwriting is the same like a poetry, and a selection of words, a selection of rhymings, selection of the words whose are universally people understand. This is very important. So it is very uh, difficult task to write, and it is very difficult to express our heart feeling in the word. So when you feel that yes, you are a writer, and God gives us this ability to write the unique words, and the words connect with the other people's heart and connecting to each other, when you realize these things.
Oh, well, God, I first got a guitar. I was in high school in the 1970s, so, and I think, like I said, there's this universal element of wanting to express yourself, so I could say it started back in high school. And then actually just behind me here are bagpipes. I became a bagpiper in 1981. I started playing bagpipes, and that's another way. I do a lot of parades. I perform in a band there, and I play the bass guitar in my church, as part of our church band. And so, all these things, they happened over time, but somewhere along the line, relative to what you're asking, there was this realization that I could take these building blocks of music, and this moment would come where there's some level of inspiration that says, wow, there's this idea. How do I express it? And then, I might have a guitar in front of me, and I start trying to come up with some ideas, or, sometimes it's more intentional. Sometimes you might wake up in the middle of the night and want to write something down, and that becomes these ideas that eventually you sometimes you have to kind of hammer things around a while until you put it all together, and it's like a puzzle. And then one day you're building and building, and there's a song. So
we've talked to people who taking 10 years to write a song. So it isn't like, oh, overnight it's going to happen. And another thing too is the music area there are a lot of people who do music. So there's collaboration that people can do together. If you have a tune, but you're not sure what words to use, you could maybe reach out with someone else and you could work on those things together, or vice versa. You have a concept and you have some ideas, you can hammer those things out with someone else if you don't have like the, if you don't play an instrument, for instance. So things can be done that way.
Yeah, collaboration is actually one of the big things now,
Yeah.
because even the song last night, it started, the woman who's from India had this idea about how she wanted to do a song, but it needed to get worked on a little. So I helped do that. And then I realized, I think what might be interesting in collaboration is have someone who's an African-American person here do like some rap stuff for a verse. So we have singing and we have rap, and then musically I thought, well, guitars and various sorts of drums. And I said, well, maybe tabla would be interesting. So, we found someone to play tabla, which is not tabla. And so anyway, so, these are all putting these different pieces together. And I say it's exciting for us because a lot of these things, they just are ideas in my head, and then eventually they start to become real things, and you start fine tuning into where you're going.
The other thing too about it is we had maybe 7 people there last night at the recording studio, and you're having a lot of fun interacting with other people and getting to see the process and learning about each other. So, almost everything you do in life is about relationship. If it isn't about relationship, it probably should be. So that's the other thing that's really great about these different things that you get into in your life, is you get to meet and learn about others, just, like this is. We feel like that's a building block for anything, especially if you don't understand a particular culture or area. And it's really useful that way. The more practice you get of learning about other people, the more you know.
Yeah.
My next question to you, ma'am. Yeah, please.
Oh, I was going to say the other thing in terms of like collaboration, like I can tell, you work very well with video things. And so like music is not just music anymore. Like it's almost a prerequisite. You have to have a video, so we do some of that ourselves. But, for instance, we may find in talking to you and some of the people, well, maybe they're good at putting music videos together. So then next thing you know, we're collaborating. So.
Right.
Right. And I agree with you. My next question is to you, ma'am. After your marriage with John, when you realize that he is a very classy person, he is writing something, he is a very good musician. So what's your collaboration with the initial time of your relationship? You are very beautiful, and he's very smart, and he has a command on the guitar as well. He's playing with lyrics, he's playing with words, and sometimes he is using a very good phrases for your beauty. So please share your the past experience with us, because I love to learn about I love to listen about your previous romantic hours, your the very beautiful couples sitting on the dining table to sharing the sharing the phrases.
Wow. John worked really hard to romance me, and he used his music, but I didn't understand because I just thought we were friends, and I didn't realize that there was this next step. And so it was part of it, but I think what drew us together were our hearts and our vision for life and what's good for people. God is a very big part of our lives, and it was prior to us knowing each other, and it continues to be now. And those are requirements for whomever we might want to share our lives with. It was very important. So, and then, you know, we're very different. And so we can bring different ideas and concepts and views to the table. I'm very empathetic to where things really hurt my heart, and you know,
you're very detail oriented,
and I'm very detailed oriented. Yes, and John has a heart too, and oftentimes he'll be like, "It's okay, Jill. It's okay."
But I also am more big picture oriented.
Yeah. So I'm this, he's this, and between us, you know, I'll pull him down, he pulls me up. So it's how it works for us anyway.
Wow. And when and now, mashallah, by the grace of God, you have 5 kids, you know, and hopefully they are settled in their life
Most of
where
them
after
are,
you are better brought up. What?
Most of them are. Some we have one daughter who graduated college and is not able to find anything in her field of study. She's our youngest one, so COVID has really impacted that for her. The other 4 have jobs that are stable and that they didn't lose, or they were able to work from home. So she's the last one who's still trying to find her way. But we are very blessed. They are all healthy and they all enjoy each other, and you know, we're lucky for that.
And they range in age from 23 to 31. So.
Yes, yeah.
And then there's actually a little backstory to that. Even Jill and I, this is both our second marriage. I had been widowed and she was divorced, and I had 2 children and she had 3. So we became a blended family when the kids were, that was in 2004. And so at this point in life, you know, even very quickly, they kind of became brothers and sisters, you know, just through life and living together and stuff. So that's been very nice to see that our family, you know, took 2 and became 1.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Wow. My next question is about parenting, because, you know, parenting is a very serious topic. So, any suggestion for our young parents, because you know they are not more expert like you and the other old people who has a very good experience with their 5 to 6 kids. They know how to handle their behaviors, how to brought up. So the new parents are very, you know, very confused in these days how to uh, get the idea from and how to deal with them. So, any suggestion for the new parent who's are very young, if they have a one child, or they haven't any previous experience for how to brought up, how to pamper them, uh, and why kids have some, you know, tantrums, and why the kids mood swimming. So how to control it? So please, ma'am, and so you both of you, please say something about the parenting.
So one thing that came up when we were going to get married, we spoke to the pastor ahead of time, and one thing that he said was really important was this triangle, and the top is God, and the 2 sides are you. So that's got to be first, your relationship with your God and your relationship with each other, and then it's the children. You have to build the foundation, and that I think was a really big challenge just for us being a combined family. With all of those challenges, which there are plenty. But the other thing that is, I guess, respecting their personality, because each child is different. And what I would have done differently, if I could go back and do it, I would not have said no as often as I did, because some things really weren't that big of a deal. And, you know, you try to say, oh, you're going to be exact, you're going to be good, you're going to be this. Well, then that can kind of squash their personality, their idea. And I think saying no too much makes it just not as fun. That's one thing I would have done differently.
Yeah. Well, and also, you know, I would say try to enjoy the time with them, particularly when they're small. It goes by so quickly, you know, and the things that Well, there's a saying, small kids, small problems, big kids, big problems. And so, the things in their own time seem like a big deal, but as you look back, I think that's kind of what Jill was saying, that some of the things that seemed so serious probably weren't, when you got down to it. And I was also going to say the same thing you mentioned, which is that each kid is different, and somehow there's this concept of fairness that kids have, that, well, my brother got this and I didn't get that. And, you always have that dynamic, but the reality is they have different gifts, God-given gifts, that they need to be nourished, those gifts, but they aren't the same among kid to kid. So that's probably one of your challenges as a parent, is figuring out, well, what is it that this really connects with this particular child? What is it that's the thing that makes them special?
Yeah. And giving them everything, no, not the thing to do. They don't need everything. I remember our one child came home and said, Mom, this person has this really big house and they have this new car and they have this and they have that. And we live pretty low key. And I said, well, okay, tell me how much their house payment is, their second mortgage payment is, their car payment is, how much money is on their credit cards. And then we'll talk, because we don't have those things. We would choose to not have that burden on us so we can think of other things. So.
Yeah. And the other key thing is, just try to spend time. Time's the one thing you can't get back. So.
Oh, and one thing that I thought was really great that we did was have individual time with each child. Like maybe it's breakfast with mommy. So you would take one and just go somewhere, or a walk with moms. Now, you don't necessarily have to spend money, but just something where you're one-on-one away from everybody else. That was a great thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. On the social media, we are listening lots of things about the meditation. We are watching lots of videos regarding fitness, regarding health, regarding organic food as well. So these three things are very circulated and hardly circulated in social media. So what is your secret of your happy, healthy life?
Sleep. Sleep is good.
Yeah.
Wow. I think perspective. And I personally am challenged with that sometimes, on looking at, again, even with the kids, it's really not that big a deal, or that kind of thing. But I think too that realizing it's not just about you makes your life much happier, and reaching out to others and helping others is very fulfilling. Giving is better than getting. And I feel like we try to do that.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you there. That very well said, Jill. Okay.
So when it comes to, I know you're asking more, I think, about food and meditation and centering. I think that is becoming more and more popular over here than it has been in the past. And that's encouraging, because I think the culture in the United States has been, the more stuff I have, the happier I will be. Well, we know that's not true. And I think oftentimes people are just starting to really embrace that more than they used to in the past. Would you say that's good?
I think that is good. Yeah.
Okay. In Pakistan as well as in Asia, we are parents, especially parents, are facing a one issue for their, for their kids. Which field is perfect for our child? This is the common question in Asia. Doctor field is good for my child. Engineering field is good for my child. or the other field. Because in Asia, in Asian countries, we believe that the two professions are very good and very secure for our kids, for our children, for our
Hmm.
siblings, because they feel that they both professions are very secured and earn heavy money. So what you suggest that how we guide our kids, how we can guide our youth to select our profession according to their interest, because this is very important. We are forcing them to select this profession, to select this field. So in the end we feel that he is not perfect on that field, and he fail and then get back with a sad face and with a heavy heart. I can't do this. So what you suggest for the parents, how we can uh, tackle and how we can guide our youth for their profession, for their profession, and for their passion as well?
Yeah. Well, certainly, a lot of families you find, the parents tend to influence the children. I mean, there are people in my family who, were teachers, and their kids tended to be more oriented toward being a teacher, or music. Maybe that was one of them. My dad actually had a doctorate in chemistry. And when I was growing up, one of the things that was really very early on at the dawn of the environmental movement, I can remember I was in 7th grade for the first Earth Day, which was 1970, and being impacted by that and saying, I want to be someone who can make the world a better place by cleaning up the environment and taking care of it. And so my dad, with his chemistry background, kind of worked with me, and we talked to some people, and they felt that being a chemical engineer was a good way to work with that area, and this was long ago that there wasn't actually a degree called environmental engineering then. So anyway, I went into chemical engineering. But like I say, that sense of aptitude, my parent, my dad, with his background as a chemist, was kind of able to guide me more in that. But I think it goes back to the interests that each kid is going to be able to express, and that's, as I was mentioning, as a parent, trying to identify, well, where is it that they're strongest at? What are the things that they actually like and seem to have some aptitude toward? And hopefully as a parent, you have a little different view of them than they do of themselves, where I think when I was a kid, I had no clue of the future. There used to be the old thing, well, yes, kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a fireman, or, you just have these things because you didn't really know why. But
the other thing that they do here in high school in the last 4 years of school before college is they will take tests to say, okay, well, you might be good in this area, you might be good in that area. I don't know how well those work. And part of life is just trying some things out. All of our children were fortunate enough to go to higher level schools, but the one flunked out because it wasn't the right thing for him. So he's taking real estate classes to be able to sell property, and that seems to work better for him. In guiding the kids, like our last child has a degree in history. Not really sure what you're going to do with that unless you're going to teach it, and she doesn't want to teach. So kind of, what do you want? What are you going to do? The one thing I will say though is, for many, many, many years, as long as I can remember prior growing up, a person's life definition was by what their work was. So, oh, you are a engineer, and that was kind of it. And so if you have outside interests as well, it might make that job that you don't necessarily like easier to do because you know the money or the stuff you're doing there will help support these other interests that you have. You don't necessarily have to be defined by that one job anymore. You can have more than one job or more than one interest. So and we tell the kids, you're not necessarily, who said you're going to like your job? No one told you that that was going to be the case, but you hope that they find that. So a little bit of a different idea, but
yeah, I used to tell people before I retired that I had 3 jobs. You know, I had the job where I was called a control engineer, a process control engineer, and I worked for the last 10 years of my career. I worked at the utility that treats all the wastewater in the county that we live in, a very large organization. But then I said, well, I'm also the head of my music, you know, which is a business that does not really make money. so I needed the real job to earn income. And then I'm also technically the head of our nonprofit, These Streets Are Holy. So I said, well, it's like having 3 jobs. And so now I'm down to 2. But, you know, the point is with the outside interest, you know, it's a balancing act of everything. And not just being defined by one thing maybe gives you a little more versatility and enjoyment in life.
Yeah.
Thank you for explain this explain this question with different examples. In the end, I'm just asking a one question to you, both of you, how you can connect with music to all over the world, how to connect us with music.
Yeah, well, you know, certainly the great thing in today's connected world is, you know, we are closer than we've ever been, and today is the perfect example of that. You know, so if someone wants to go to my YouTube channel called Songs by John 1, well, you can go there and you can listen to things. You know, so you have that ability to reach out. The challenge is doing it successfully. And, you know, we all think everything should be viral, but sometimes, you know, maybe today was the day there was something I did that was right for you. And it didn't matter that there weren't thousands of people listening. You were the one it really mattered for, you know, and that's okay. So that's the sense of reaching out and connecting to people.
The other suggestion would be step out of the stuff that you typically listen to and try to listen to other things that you might find them more fulfilling or unique. And you might find other people who like that style of music as well. And you'll have more to talk about. You know, that's kind of how I see some of these outside activities, is the more that you do, the more you have to talk about, the more you can experience, the more you can share. And for us, for a long time, we listened to certain styles of music, and then the Christian style of music became very popular. And our one daughter was into that 10 years before we even started listening to it a lot. And then we're meeting other people who do different types of music, and it's just interesting to see how they got there and why they want to do it a certain way. What are they hearing? You know, because you could take one song and make it more of the Indian flavor, or have it be more classical, or have it be, you know, so I guess
hip hop.
Yeah, you know, so it's all out there, and just be open to it. You don't have to like it, but, you know, give it a try. You don't like it, try something else, and, you know, share that way.
Yeah, and certainly for me, one of the other things I do is I'm head of a group called the Chicago Songwriters Collective, which involves songwriters in this area. And so, you know, I get to hear people presenting their songs. We get together and we kind of share what we're doing. And so you hear stuff at the beginning, and it's all different types. I'm also a voting member of the Grammy organization. And so on that, I get to vote on almost 20 different styles of music that, you know, I get to say, I think this one gets the Grammy, you know, so that's part of what I get to do. But in doing that, you know, I might be listening to something called, regional roots as a category. And so now I'm listening to Native Americans doing things with chanting and drum beats. And then the next album is people who are making music like you'd hear down in New Orleans with this sort of jazz and, a lot of brass, and it's very upbeat and fun. And, so there's all these completely different things. And if you can get to the point where you, like Jill said, you may not enjoy everything equally, but you can certainly respect what it took to get that there. So.
And try singing yourself,
yeah.
Which he always tries to get me to do. But I'm nervous about it in front of a microphone. But try it yourself and see how it opens your heart.
Okay. In the end, any message for my audience who's are watching this video lively or who's are watching after the recording? So any message to my viewers?
Well, I guess on a very basic level, and I believe everyone there would understand this, assalamu alaikum. And we certainly, are doing things in the name of Jesus. That's kind of where we're coming from. And I think that would also be understood there. So I would like to extend and have that sense of brotherhood among us, even though we're very far apart and there's many parts of the way we look at the world may be very different, but when you get down to here, we're really not that different, are we?
And thank you so much for this opportunity. It's the first time we've actually had people ask us stuff about us as individuals. So it can be a little nerve-wracking, but we thank you for this opportunity. It's been a beautiful experience.
Yes.
And keep doing the wonderful work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you to you, because I'm very happy to meet a very beautiful couple who's from Chicago. And this StreamYard allow me to meet with you. And I'm very thankful to the StreamYard, to the all social media concerns who's are connecting with us. So God bless you and have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching this very informative, very beautiful, and very energetic video with us. And this is Connecting the World. This interview series is sponsored by Rehan Foundation and Institute of Peace. Take care. Bye.